Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not.
My name is Herlin Riley. I'm a drummer from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I am so happy to come here to Nigeria, just to be, and I'm happy to be on African soil. As an African American, you know, I feel like I'm coming home. So,
welcome home.
All right. Yes.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Willie Brimo. I'm a Jibefola, musician, Ghanaian, born, raised in East St. Louis, family from New Orleans.
Where you was raised?
East St. Louis. Ghanaian, born, raised in St. Louis, family from New Orleans.
There you go.
That's a wild trio, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But my first time in Lagos, and it's a dream coming true today, was a wow factor. So what happened today for me, coming here, in the 43 years of my little life, I think it's something special. It's always when you know something that's working that you don't see works for you. So today was special.
Well, Marcellus is a musician. My father is a musician from New Orleans, like Herlin. We actually played in a band together when I was 8 and he was 13. And I'm honored to be here with all these great musicians. And we look forward to everything that we're going to do. My fantastic trumpet players played. We've been received so well, and we are here to be a part of a renaissance and bring the true identity of our music and our philosophy here and to be for real about it. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ambassador Afolabi Oke, representing African Union 6 region, which is a global diaspora, and also the convener of Runway Jazz. It's indeed a great privilege and a dream come true for me that sitting next to Wynton Marsalis.
I hope
Please
you're
don't
not
want to have a round of applause, please.
I hope you're not disappointed.
All the great musicians that are here, we are truly excited to be hosting you. And for us, I just want to thank you for making time to come to Nigeria. This is home, right? Okay, so I believe that we're going to have some very interesting time, particularly the concert tomorrow. Please tell everyone that do not miss this. You need to be there and listen to these amazing musicians. Thank you and welcome, Paul.
My name is Daniel Israel, Director of Touring from Jazz at Lincoln Center. I can promise you don't want to hear from me. Really, we are so honored to be here. This is our third country, our third city, and our first ever Africa tour. So for us at Jazz at Lincoln Center, this is a really big deal. So thank you for having us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Chanel Johns. I am a musician, a singer, and this was all I could think about for months. So I am just blessed that it's finally here and I get to share these moments with you all. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. That was lovely. So
All right, again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and it is nice to be here this lovely morning. Runway Jazz was birthed in 2016, and we believe so much in jazz. We believe jazz is the fundamental of all genre of music, and that is why. Like I said, it's really nice to be here. We started this in 2016, and we're very passionate about jazz. We believe that jazz was, and always will be the music strictly for matured minds. And that is why it is so important that no matter the genre of music, you have to understand the fundamentals of jazz. That is what we preach, that's what we believe in, and that's what we believe that this country really, really needs to embrace this genre of music, because it is the foundation of a lot of fundamental music that we currently embrace, including Afrobeat. But that said, we have invited a couple of musicians over the years to be here, but this is the very first time we are having someone that is so deep in traditional, that has maintained the tradition of traditional jazz, as it were, and has been, over the years, been so distinct and believes so much and trains so many young people to believe in this genre of music. We're indeed very proud, Winty, that you were able to make it to Nigerian soil for the very first time. One more time, please, a round of applause. This for us is history. This is truly fulfilling history. And over the years, as a jazz enthusiast, there has been so many challenges, right? But we are grateful that we keep surmounting all those challenges over the years since 2016. We had a little break, during COVID, but the truth is, jazz is back. Runway Jazz is back and reloaded in 2025. Not only that, one of the things that we are also trying to do is to impart knowledge. So by come Monday, we're going to be having a masterclass where a lot of these great musicians will be sharing their knowledge with us. Knowledge is power, so please avail yourselves not just to be at the concert, but to be at the masterclass and learn one or two things. Again, like I said, we're indeed very grateful. It's been a long time coming, and we're excited that it's finally happening right here in Nigeria. Because I also represent African Union 6 region, I'll just tell you a little bit why this is very historic for us. One of the fundamentals of African Union is we are saying it is time for our historic diaspora to come back home, meaning to recognize, right, their roots, right? So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we all are connected through one family, right? And that family is growing, right? It doesn't matter where you are, we all have roots back in Africa. So I'm saying to my colleagues and friends, welcome home. Right. Please a round of applause one more time. And wait till we're going to give you a Nigerian name, okay?
Yeah.
I'm still thinking.
Well, we gotta be good. If it's not a good name, don't get it.
Sorry?
Make sure it got a New Orleans feel to it. Something like Weedy. See, that's a good name. Weedy is a good name. You gotta hear that feeling to it.
All right, but again, we want to thank you for being here, and we believe that we're all going to have a great time. Thank you, and God bless you.
Please come and have a round of applause.
We have a board member, Benga Oyebode, and he is Nigerian, and he's instrumental in us being here. And also, Taylor Abbey is another young woman on our board, and her husband, Wimimo, is also Nigerian. Before we wrote the piece, Weedy and I read important books. Wole Soyinka, well, I had to pull a dictionary out. The depth of his writing is so profound, and I had spoken with him once about coming for a festival to do a piece that we had done some time ago called Congo Square. Then I was playing with the Ghanaian master, Yakub Adi, but Yakub had passed away, so it was not possible for us to put that piece on. And we all come together. How we come to be here, Dan Israel and I sit down. Sometimes, a couple of times, he get in a room with stuff of the entire world. We talk years ahead of time. Where do you want to go? Man, let's go here, let's go there. And we look at the region, well, we were here then, we're here, let's go there. And I always have wanted to come here, be here. In the 1980s and 90s, when Herlin and I played together in our band, a small band, we always want to come to Africa. A guy that was like my uncle, Alvin Baptiste, led the Southern University Jazz Band in Louisiana to Africa in 1971. Then I was 10 years old. And they made a recording. It says, the Southern University Jazz Band comes to Africa with love.
Jazztronauts.
The Jazztronauts. So Herlin, and they were always practicing. My father had a deep African consciousness. My fifth brother, he's autistic, severely autistic. When he was born, we had never heard of autism. We didn't know what it was. His name is Mboya Kenyatta Marcellus. And the whole movement with Max Roach and with Jackie McLean and all the consciousness jazz musicians, we are a part of that movement. Don Cherry, Charlie Hayden, we come with the message in the spirit of jazz. We have sacrificed for it. Our parents sacrificed for it. We can't be paid out of what we believe. This is a time that we need a renaissance. But that's a renaissance of quality. It's a renaissance of study. It's a renaissance of embracing a universal humanism that's at the root of all that's great about our music. It does not matter whether it's a woman, whether it's a white person, whether it's somebody, wherever they're from, as the ambassador was saying. It's one root, and that root is the root of humanity. The piece that Weedy and I wrote is called Afro. That's what we'll be playing. It's sophisticated, but it's down home. Herlin and I come from New Orleans. We played in communities. Herlin's like my big brother. When I was 8, he was 13, we played in a band called the Fairview Baptist Church Marching Band. I did not want to be there doing that. I was the era of James Brown. My daddy said, go do this. I didn't want to play Oh in the Saints and all that. That was considered to be Uncle Tom, handkerchief head music for tourists. But we were out there. And now I feel so fortunate to have the experience to have done that. What it taught, the songs we played, I still know those songs. It was not my choice to do that. But once we got there, the old man, Danny Barker, was teaching us. He was a folklorist. And I got to meet all the greatest musicians. When I think of who was in that band when we were kids, Lucian Barbrand, Shannon Powell, Michael White, it's all like people became Tuba Fat, became the greatest musicians in New Orleans, all because an old man sat out in a lot by somewhere with some raggedy kids in the afternoon and taught them New Orleans music and took us on gigs and paid us with $5 and $2 a gig. He would pay us for every gig we played. And we come in that spirit. So yes, our music is elegant, it's learned and all that, but we also down home. We come from people who did community work. We are community workers. We work and we do things. And I just want to say, I know I'm talking about, but I want to set the tone right. Alexa had a camp for kids when she was a kid. So her sacrifice for music and what she knows and what she's willing to do for organizations, she raised money for Jazz at Lincoln Center during the pandemic. Whatever it was, she's thinking globally. So we're here, and this is what we're doing. We, East St. Louis, his father worked at a high school with a guy in a high school where I did my first teaching of kids when I was 18 years old, Lincoln High School. And I went to that school for 25 years. And I didn't know Weedy's father, but when we were preparing to write this piece, he sent me a long line of serious African music. And one of them was arranged by his father. And I didn't know it was his father. When I heard it, I said, damn, man, who did this? We need to call him. I want to study with him. Because had I known his father when we were doing Congo Square, I would have been so much better at writing the internal of real, true kind of African music with substance. But unfortunately, his father has passed on. But here's his son, 20 years younger than me. But what I've learned from this man, when we, in the process of writing this piece, even last night on the plane, I'm so afraid to fly, the 5 hours, we're just sitting up there with him singing rhythms and explaining the spacing to me. We're very serious about what we're doing. And when I talked with Herlin about Weedy, I said, what about Weedy? Herlin, he said, yeah. That means, man, call Weedy, bro. So we come in with a certain spirit. We come together. We work together. We are for real. If you know the amount of work Chanel has done to get her music together, how difficult her parts are to sing, how she's working on her stuff all the time, and how deep into the roots of the music she's going and what she is about. We come with a different spirit. We're not here to make money. We're here to be for real and to give a sense of the real identity of Afro-American and American music. It has been disrespected. Afro-Americans have disrespected ourselves, and we have been disrespected. We're presented as fools and vulgarians. That's not who we are. It swept the entire world and made billions of dollars with us acting an absolute fool. We're the opposite of that. We come from parents. We believe in the ascendancy of people through study and knowledge. We have a spiritual base. We're about oneness with all people. We go all over the world, and we bring the same feeling everywhere. And we at home wherever we go. You see, we out there playing the drums, and we was doing that. We don't mind learning. But we want y'all to know we work very hard on what we have done, and we want to make a great presentation. And we are very, very, very for real. So thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
For me, it's interesting because I represent three very important entities. Yes, my father's Ghanaian, I was born in Ghana. Yes, my mother grew up in East St. Louis. But yes, my family is from New Orleans.
Okay, yeah, it is.
So here's the interesting part. It's a true conversation and a true narrative of how all our traditions are one. You cannot separate the mother from the child. You know, there was an old saying, you cannot step on your grandmother's neck, so it's impossible. So the root of the tree is the base. Africa is home. You know, no matter if you're from Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Gambia, Ivory Coast, whatever. Italy.
China.
We are one. And for me, being a folklorist, a preserver of culture, and being able to play this music and contain the importance of the connectivity between this music is who I am. My mother's a jazz drummer, my father's a Ghanaian composer within jazz, within aesthetic of high life, big band music. And we're able to bring those narratives together is me. And to be working with these amazing people up here to maintain that trajectory is a true testament that the future was happening. What the future knew is happening now.
Trajectory.
It's true.
Trajectory.
It's true. And I go back to saying what happened this morning. So, and I have to tell this story. It's important. We got started, and they said, you know, winning is being played by this amazing group of musicians here. And I was having breakfast. And yes, the jollof here is amazing. Yes, you amazing. So I'm eating, and so we go upstairs, and I hear this melody. And when I heard this melody, sometimes I was in shock. I said, this can't be what I think it is. And I heard this melody. I've not heard it since 1987. And when I recorded my album in 2016, I used this as an ode to my father because it was a connection me and my father had. So to hear this melody walking up the stairs, to see this man, it was his first time in West Africa, to see him greeted by these amazing musicians, it was a full circle moment for me. And that full circle is why I call Africa home.
Pressed for time, but I want everyone to say something. So I'm going to go next to you, Mr. Harlan. Please, what inspired you to, because you said you were really excited about this come to Nigeria, coming to Lagos. So why are you excited about that?
I'm very excited because, first of all, I've been playing the drums. I don't remember when I started to play the drums. I was taught to play the drums by my grandfather. He was born in 1902, and he played in the Waves Home with Louis Armstrong in 1913. He taught me to play the drums at the kitchen table using the butter knives. And then put some butter on his bread, and then put some jam on his bread, and then take the knives and play out these rhythms for me on the table. And he would challenge me to do these things. And I would try to do it. And I'm a drummer from New Orleans, Louisiana. And I was taught to play the drums. I don't even remember when I started to play, because I can't, it's like somebody asking me, when did you start to speak? But the drums was always a part of me as a boy growing up. And I was taught to play by my grandfather. His name was Frank Lasty. He taught me to play. He was born in 1902, that's the first thing, around the turn of the century. And in 1913, he was at a waif's home with Louis Armstrong. That was a detention center for wayward youth. So he played the drums. He taught me to play the drums at the kitchen table, not even on the drums. It was just the butter knives. After he put some butter on his bread, some jam on his bread, he took the butter knives and he started beating out these rhythms for me on the table. And for me, as a boy, it was a game. Just teaching me how to do this, and it was a game. It was something I enjoyed doing. When he played, he challenged me to do it. I couldn't quite do it, but he would laugh at me a little bit and say, "Oh boy, here it is, and try it again." And so I grew up playing the drums that way, and then I went to church with him. He played the drums in church, and I couldn't always do it because he was always, but there was some sisters who were in church who played the tambourine. So they would let me play the tambourine. And I saw everything as a boy as a drum. I saw the drum. You know, my grandmother's pots and pans, they were drums. Just a box, if it was a round box with that the grits or the oatmeal came in, that was a drum to me. And so, and as I got older, I come to realize that the importance of Congo Square. Congo Square was a place in New Orleans during the time of enslavement of black people that was the only place in North America where the drums were allowed to be played. The only place, and it happened right in New Orleans, Louisiana. Congo Square was in New Orleans, Louisiana. My grandfather was a part of that tradition, even though it was later. He wasn't enslaved at that time, but the people before him were enslaved, and so that rhythm was permeated through the generations in New Orleans. So I'm standing on the shoulders of those people who came through Congo Square, to the slave ship, to Congo Square, and now here we are today. And so we know that all music starts with rhythm. All music starts with rhythm. And being a drummer and having rhythm in my DNA, we have to trace back to the motherland, to Africa. And this has been a dream of mine ever since I was a boy, to come to Africa, to see the real drummers, to be a part of that, culture, and to engage in that. When I was a boy, about 8 years old or so, you would see these television shows they called Tarzan. And it was the depiction of some white guy who was, supposedly ruled of the jungle, and some mythical stuff. But what most important about that was the fact when I saw the drums and Africans playing the drums and seeing them dancing and seeing them, the rhythms that was coming out. I was so intrigued because I was also a drummer. I was so intrigued about that. And so I wanted to come to this place. As I got older and came into my consciousness, I wanted to come to this continent of Africa. And I'm so happy to be on this soil today. And it's because of my good friend Winston Marcellus and our history. When I found out, I talked to Weedy. Weedy called me and said, "Man, we're going to Africa." And he and I had been talking about it too. Yeah. We're going to Africa. I said, "Man, how are you going to Africa?" He said, "I'm going with Winston, man, in Lincoln Center." I said, "I'm calling him right now." I got on the phone and I called him. I called Winston and I said, "Man, I want to make this trip." And he was so gracious. I said, "Man, I don't care. They ain't got to pay me a dime. I don't care. I just want to go. I want to go. I want to go." And he was so gracious and allowed me to come and share this experience. This is my first time being here, and I'm almost 70 years old. And I've been waiting for all my life to come to this soil. So thank you for embracing us and having us. Again, my name is Hurlin Riley. Peace and love.
Yes, hi, again, thanks. My name is Alexa Tarantino, and I just want to say thank you all so much for the most beautiful welcome. the richness and warmth of your hospitality has just been the most incredible experience, and it's a true testament to the familial spirit and the community, and we are all just so blessed to be here with you, so thank you again. And for me, this is really, I never could have dreamed that I would be here, and learning from all these amazing mentors and musicians that I have alongside me. I first came up in the Jazz at Lincoln Center education programming, and I think it's important to share that, because I'm sure, you know, I'm seeing all these young musicians that we have playing and welcoming Winton and the band, the importance of passing our music on to the next generation. It really works wonders, and it really makes an impact. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for those education programs, and just the inspiration and the love that I felt from our community back home, to be able to bring that here and share and come together. We are coming from Jazz at Lincoln Center to Runway Jazz, but I think at the end of the day, you know, the names and the organizations, that doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. You know, we come together as one community, one family, and I'm looking forward to learning and working with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Thank you for this warm welcome. Oh, I need another microphone.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Yes, here we go. Thank you for the warm welcome. I think I'll start by saying that this journey has been a long time in the making, because I think my generation has the privilege, we have the privilege of considering who we are and our identity and how it relates with the rest of the world. Back home, I grew up in a Jamaican household, and I went to a Puerto Rican school, and then I went to a school that was all white. And then I moved to New York, which is a melting pot of all cultures. And I questioned a lot about how am I supposed to be? Who am I supposed to be? And especially in this music coming out of the school of Jackie McLean, I knew that there was something deeper to understand about the power that I have. And because of that same school, I knew that Africa was a place I needed to go to fully see, you know, who I am, and to fully see all of you and how we relate, because you are mirrors of me, I am mirrors of you. And so this journey, I tell you, it made sense the moment I stepped off of the plane here in Nigeria, when Afolabi, you met us. The first thing he said was, "Welcome home." And that has been the reoccurring message for the past few hours, is home. And so I feel now more at home than I ever have in myself, in the music. Thanks to Winton, thanks to Maestro Marsalis. A couple years ago, about 2-3 years ago, I don't know if you remember this, we had a show. It was my first tour with the Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra. And right before we went on stage, he stops me and he says, "Look, I'm writing this piece. And it's called Afro, and I have a vision for it, and I want you to be on it." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, all right, sure. Let me just get through this concert before we talk about that." I don't know. I was so nervous. And years later, I get that call. And I think that's just a testament to his vision and his leadership. And so, yes, so this, thank you, Maestro, and thank you all for welcoming all of us.
Presenter in this country, believe me, in the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me this morning, Mr. Genie. Please a round of applause. Genie, come take the mic.
There's no place like home. You know, it's south, northwest. Home is home. So it's good to have you guys back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was an honor having you. So we'd like to give the press opportunity to ask a few questions. Okay, so I have a hand over there. So please.
Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. We're really excited to have you around. See, we love music in Lagos, and we can't wait to see what tomorrow is going to give us. My question goes to Vincent. Welcome. It's really a privilege to have you here, 9-time Grammy Award. It's really a privilege to have you here. And my question is going to be about the cultural fusion that we might be getting tomorrow. You're bringing original New Orleans jazz. We're going to also be giving you some of the Afrobeat infused jazz that we play here in Nigeria.
Our music doesn't really have a name, it's jazz. But we believe in the fundamentals of jazz is communication between people. As I said, I am a universal humanist. I can't speak for other people. And to be honest, I'm at home anywhere I go. When I'm in China, man, I'm at home. I sit down with people, I eat their food, I talk with them, I play with them. I remember I was a kid. I was 21 years old. I was on a tour playing classical music. And I was never comfortable on these tours. I was always the only person. It was always all white environment. I walked out on the stage to play. I felt like I was the only black person in the whole city. I grew up in segregation, basically, in New Orleans. And I wasn't a person who it went down easy with. So I was always having problems, always having troubles. I went to play the Haydn Trumpet Concerto. And the trumpet players in their trumpet section were all older than me, maybe in their 40s, 30s. They said, hey man, you here alone, we want to take you to this restaurant. Man, they took me to this restaurant high up in the mountain. We were talking about trumpet. They gave me a copy of the national anthem written by Haydn, who was the same guy that wrote the Trumpet Concerto. My experience in classical music sometimes was not, as a kid, it wasn't inviting, right? It could be a lot of prejudice. But here I am here with these guys, we trumpet players. We start playing these big alpine horns, man. Boom, we're blowing them out into the, we like little children, man. We're playing these horns, they making all kind of sound. And then they gave me these gifts. And they said, man, good luck playing. We know you can't be nervous here, just being alone up there, but we with you. Okay, that meant a lot. Now, the same thing would be something that I would tell Chanel. The great Ron Carter, before I played with Herbie Hancock and Tony Williams, I was 19, we were playing in the Hollywood Bowl. Man, I can't tell you how nervous I was. We had one rehearsal. I don't even know what they're playing. They're playing the style of music I didn't play. I'm lost, I'm standing there, I gotta play in front of that rhythm section. And I made sure I had a good suit. I said, I'm gonna be lost through this whole, but I'm gonna be clean. I had a white suit with a pink tie, I'll never forget it. I have no business up here with these musicians at all. And I'm not exaggerating, truly. And man, we getting ready to go out, the Hollywood Bowl is packed, and I'm thinking, damn, the first song we're playing, I have no idea what the harmonic progression is called, The Sorcerer. It's D over E, F over G. I didn't even know those chords at that time. And they just start playing boom, 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 boom. I'm lost, man. Damn, I gotta play this damn song. Ron Carter came up to me, he put his arm around me. We standing backstage, and he said, son, if something go wrong, if you get lost, listen to me, and I'm gonna be with you, and you're not alone. And he was not a guy given to like effusive emotionalism, hugging you and all of that. And I can't tell you what that meant to me. So when we come together, we study, we're serious, we're for real, we're about playing, but we also have aspirations, we have ambitions. And that ambition is to take the best of our music. Chanel mentioned Jackie McLean. Jackie McLean wrote a song called Appointment in Ghana. Okay, Jackie has been gone, but here's Chanel. I knew Jackie very well. And when I was young, I got a lot of publicity and credit for winning Grammys, which are meaningless, by the way. It means nothing. You get a sheet, it's 900 people's names on there. Man, you haven't heard nobody's music. You vote for whoever name you heard. So when I was young, you heard my name, you voted for me, I won. Like my daddy told me after that first Grammy, I was celebrating, he said, I hope you don't think this means you can play. Okay, and he was right. He wasn't saying it because he wasn't petty. So I think about Jackie and what Jackie wanted. Jackie's aspiration is right here with Chanel, because he was always about uplift and raising. So in those early years when the older musicians would be really hard on me, Jackie was supportive. He was like, man, keep learning how to play. Don't let this drag you down. The master from Ghana, Yakub Adi, I loved him. That was like a grandfather to me. I was in his house eating the good shrimp stew they would be making. And he teaching me rhythms, man, I don't even know, have no idea what they playing. He beating the rhythm out, and he taught me a lot of things, right? One section of the piece we playing long. And I said, yeah, cool, we call it Runway. This section of the piece is long. What is it? It is the name of the ancestors. Whose ancestors, right? We don't even know what language y'all speaking. He said, which would you like me to remove? I don't know nobody's name. He said, because you are ignorant of their achievements, does that make them less significant? So when I was with the master, and when we are talking, we are for real. When I'm talking to Alexa and we talking about music, this is what we got to do to be, we aspire to things. On Monday, when we're teaching kids, we have aspirations. Not, hey, get a certain type of outfit, and you could get a hit too, and you put this machine on your music, and you can do this, and talk about something. That's not who we are. We come from the community. We saw our parents toil and struggle. I know what Yaqub wanted to do. That's why when I see a person like Weedy and how much knowledge this man has, man, I'll get full thing about just what the man knows. We're not talking about, man, we're gonna get a hit out of this. We ain't gonna get no hits, man. And stuff that's long. Comparable what he knows. It's just unbelievable to know that much stuff about cultures, about what something is, what the meaning of things are, how specific rhythms are, what the pathways are, what the spirit of something is. And when you use the word trajectory, that's important to understand. Because what the future knew means we're here now because of other people's aspirations. So we come here with aspirations, all of us.
Thank you.
Worrying about the exact pitches and the rhythms, but it's the scoops and the moans and the growls and the hollers that you can say to a kid, come in today and play me a blues as if you left your lunch at home and you're starving and you can't wait to get home. And then they're gonna come and go, but you can say, okay, now next, come in and let's play a blues as if you got that last Oreo cookie at lunch that you were betting on with your friends. It's like dee 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 bee boo boo dee 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 wee. They're so excited to bring their own spirit to it. So we're not worried about being mature or playing for mature minds. We are focused on bringing a level of seriousness, but with that understanding of we need to come together with joy and ease and openness.
Thank you.
This music is a language. And if you want kids to be involved in the language, the way that we learn to speak our language is that it was taught to us through our parents. So the kids have to be exposed to jazz music, has to be exposed to the music in order for them to engage in it. They don't know, a lot of times kids don't know what they don't like because they haven't been exposed to it. If you expose them to it, then they can make a decision as to whether or not they want to engage. And so as parents and as older people, it's important that we expose our children to this art form. My grandfather exposed me to the drums, and as a result, I found out that I liked it. So, exposure is right now in the media. This music is not celebrated. It's not celebrated at all. And it's up to us as adults and as parents to just expose our children. Winston said teach them. Alexis, she's a teacher, she does this. But when you teach them, they have to, first of all, they have to be exposed, first of all, to engage in it. And I'm not going to take up any more time.
We here to talk. I mean, 50s and 60s kind of stuff we was looking, if you're old enough, we'd be looking at that stuff like, man, we know ain't nobody like this. This is just propaganda. Right. So I see Prof, we talked, he's been here for years, bringing the music here. Our music has objectives. And Weedy was saying something about actually the objectives of African, the depth of African music. Studying with the master Yaqub, he would always say, we lost on the continent too. That's what Yaqub was saying. I'm not in a position to assess anything anybody's doing where I am not. But I know Weedy has an observation.
So it's interesting, the importance of this music and preserving it, but also the importance of preserving our own traditions that we have here. It's very important. And a lot of times we don't realize that they're both connected. It's important that we preserve our traditions. And that's, for me, being a part of this orchestra and working with these amazing musicians is my job, is to maintain the importance of tradition. And tradition in its purest form. And how that tradition is being able to connect and speak and communicate with what you're hearing. Because a lot of times, if you don't know how to speak the narrative of the music that you're playing with a folkloric instrument, it's very hard to speak. But the job to be able to connect the narratives between folkloric music from the different ethnic groups that we have in different areas, regions, countries, and how to play those folkloric rhythms and those melodies within the trajectory of what these people have been doing within the straight air, the jazz, playing it and being able to understand how they're connected is the true future of what the music is. We talk about how do we make people understand, young people understand, hell, we got to teach our children how to understand our tradition before we move forward.
Come on.
That's the future. What the future do is what we have now. Be able to understand how to play swing, but to be able to understand our traditions, because a lot of times we forget our traditions in our music. That's both in the East and in the West. So, what you're going to see when you asked about, so the idea of what Afro is just that.
Yeah. But I want to also go over what we did saying about the specificity of the knowledge. If me and this man sat down with almost every rhythm, every bass line, does this go with the rhythm? Does it go with the bell pattern? Is this clashing? If you just see him distill the melody, and look, I was showing the ambassador how much music it was. He was like, damn, there's like 200 or 300 pages of music. We sat down with all that in a short time. And he would say, no, that don't go with it. We'll take this one out. And then when we went to play with the band, Carlos Enriquez is our bass player. He also knows a lot of music. He's listening to all the bass lines. This goes against the pattern. Change this bass line to that. This is not the right feeling. And it goes back to even when we work with Yakub. How much arguing did we do about the bell? Where is the bell? Where does it lie? What is this harmony? I wrote one piece for Congo Square that was 2.5 beats away from the rhythm because I thought that bell, boop, 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 is going 1, 2, 3, and it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2. Can you imagine writing music 2.5 beats away from the downbeat? Yakub heard that and said, man, what is this? So there's a lot that we have to do to work on to raise our aspiration. We don't come all the way over here from an institution to bring light forms of entertainment. We come here to bring substance and meaning. It's why we raise money. It's why we teach classes. And these classes are for all people, not just musicians. We want our population to be more informed, deeper rooted, deeper in their spirituality, with a deeper understanding of peoples all over the world, with the ability to do what we does, which is connect all of these things. Because he is a voice of integrity in this piece. And he's always said, this is not the right rhythm. This don't mean the right thing.
Oh, thank you.
To follow the Joneses. Create a path. And the same Matthew says, he said something that has happened today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a dream that understanding the basics and the fundamentals of.
It's been an amazing journey for us to continue to do what we do, to connect all people of African origin. I don't know how many people understand that the continent of Africa is no more 5 regions. And when we say the continent, when we say the continent, we have in Africa, northern, southern, eastern, western, central Africa. These are known as the 5 regions of the continent of Africa. But 13 years ago, history was made when the continent of Africa decided to establish what we call the 6th region. And the 6th region is all people of African origin, making us one global Africa family. And that's amazing, and that's the office that I represent as the Secretary General globally, representing the 4 continents outside of the continent of Africa, where you have Australia, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and the Americas, connecting all persons of African origin. By the way, you need to understand, one of the things that makes us special is life began in Africa. If there is something that we hold very strongly, is that it doesn't matter where you come from, we give birth to you. We gave you the life, we gave you the opportunity to exist, we gave you the opportunity to do anything you do. And until the world recognizes that Mother Africa is the bread of life, it is the essence of existence, there is nothing the world can do. There is no way we can establish, understand, experience peace. The world is talking about world peace, but you can't understand peace until you respect Mother Africa. And that's why we can't do anything, because everything we need comes from the continent of Africa. Everything. Everything. And so we're super happy that this is happening today, because we are making history where the sons and daughters of the continent of Africa, the diasporans, are connected back home to bring the beautiful music, the rendition that the continent has been producing all along. And so we're super happy that this is happening, and we wanted to send a message out. We wanted to tell everybody who is everybody that you know, every person in your contact, to say something is happening and history is being made here this weekend. And so we're super excited that that story can never be just small. We need to now take charge of the narrative. You see, what is happening is that when you don't tell your story, people will tell your story. And so we decided now it is time for us to take the narrative by ourselves and tell the story of who we are. And we're so proud that Nigeria is taking charge in a different way, taking that lead, because it's called Giant for Africa, not for nothing. Even when things doesn't seem to be happening, we make it happen. Okay, we change the narrative by ourselves. We change the whole circumstances by ourselves. And so we're super excited what is happening, and we want to call everybody to join forces with us and make sure that we make history as we have always been making. Thank you, and God bless you.
Don't forget, we have the main concert.
Middle, just look at the cameras in the middle.